Hello and welcome to the show. I have wanted a proper kind of sim racing rig for quite a while. Truth be told, on the most part, between the money side of things and the sheer space that one takes up, hasn't really been able to happen. However, since having a proper office space, there is just about room to get one on the go. Various things took money away, and I never quite got around to it when I had initially planned. But thanks to the incredibly generous donators during some Twitch streams, we got together to the money, and I have now got a proper sim racing setup. I can, properly have my wheel set up somewhere permanently, can jump into that whenever I want to do some sim racing. So Project Cars 2, Corsa, iRacing, all of that stuff. We'll see more of it coming up in videos, and it's nice to have a permanent setup that I can use as and when. Of course, getting one of these things set up is not necessarily the easiest of things. It will all come in a nice sort of flat pack boxes. Now, when you have two cats like boxes. Cats like getting in the way of you trying to build a sim rig. So yeah, these are the adventures we had while trying to put it all together. We start, though, before anything even arrived. You see, you needed to measure up and figure out where things could go. Now, the downside of doing this is a certain little kitten very much likes the tape measure. She likes the crinkly metallic noise as you move it around, and she goes mad trying to chase it. So whenever you're trying to measure anything up seriously, this is what you end up doing. Just cat chases tape measure around. And if you don't get her to chase the tape measure around on the floor where she should be, she'll try and climb over everything to get to the tape measure where she shouldn't be. Again, you will see a pattern occurring as she even manages to get a claw stuck in a spinny chair. Not the cleverest thing for a little kitten, so we have to go and rescue her from that one. Once I did get all of the stuff here, once I figured out there was actually going to be space, of course, it comes in 3 giant boxes. 3 giant boxes are always good for cats. I did allude at the start, space is an issue with these sort of things. Again, I have a dedicated office where I can do all of my work, etc. And even then, it's not the biggest room in existence. Even then, it's a bit crowded when just, trying to build this damn thing. And you certainly do want to build it where you want to put it, because it's massive and quite heavy. Immediately, of course, cats were curious. Interestingly, more curious about the seat to begin with than they were curious about the box. Amara eventually discovers that there is some bubble wrap to be found. Turns out not only do cats love boxes, but my cats love bubble wrap. They really, really love bubble wrap. Cass will often go and, I say eat it, he doesn't actually eat it. Cass likes licking bubble wrap. He likes licking carrier bags as well. In this particular instance, with so much bubble wrap, that was going to be his delicacy of choice, I think. Although, speaking of Cass managing to lick stuff, Amara managed to sneak past, and I don't even know how she ended up over there. She snuck around somewhere to get into that corner. Cass decided the best way to test out the seat was to give it a lick, see if it passes cat inspection. Now, this is a long-running thing with my cats. In general, something gets Cass approval if it gets licked. I don't know why he does this. I mean, a lot of things that my cats do don't necessarily make a huge amount of sense, but he has to go around and sniff and investigate everything. Wasn't long before Amara now found a new favourite hiding spot while the chair had just been taken out of the box. Yep, she was around the back behind the chair. She liked this particular spot. She also doesn't quite know how to deal with cameras, phones. It's a go and sniff at the phone, so stuff your face at the camera on the most part, and then go and investigate the chair. Took him a surprising amount of time to actually get into the largest of the boxes. Normally the cats will just jump in whatever. Sometimes they'll jump, or often they'll jump into boxes before you've even finished taking out whatever was in the box to give them the box. Quite regularly do that with Amazon deliveries. But with this one, it took him a little bit of time. Amara was the first one to jump in. I managed to find a bit of cardboard to try and eat, so to grab that away from her, because she's not clever. She's really not clever. We'll just continue to kind of investigate. Cass was a little bit more unsure about jumping in. I'm not sure if he's more unsure about jumping into the box or more unsure about jumping into the box with the little twat cat. It could be that, to be honest. It could be that. So yeah, once she got in, then there was a whole raft of bubble wrap to go and play with, to go and try and climb around. Often she'll just jump face first into this sort of thing, but this was a more measured approach, sort of sniffing, making sure that I wasn't going to tell her off for trying to eat bubble wrap. No, she's just kind of going to sit around with this one. And this is all, of course, taking up valuable time. There are many boxes to try and deal with. I got bored of bubble wrap, so now it's going to investigate some of the corrugated cardboard, as you do. Yeah, these two want to investigate. They want to investigate it. At least when I've got them in, have the box in the office, at least I know what they're up to at the time. Eventually, got rid of that box. They got bored. They went off and had to sleep somewhere else. I got rid of that box. I had to go take all the rest of the components out. So these are all the various bits and pieces that come with their, polystyrene wraps and bubble wrap around more stuff. Cass was curious about these ones. Not quite getting the lick of approval, this lot. Not got the lick of approval in the same way that the seat did. Instead, just wanted to go and have a sniff. Thankfully, Cass, fairly good at sniffing stuff to investigate it rather than batting stuff over. Though I was very much ready to catch anything should he decide that it needed a bat around, but no. Most part was happy just to kind of sniff and have a little bit of investigate, a little bit of a sneeze as well, I think, there, before seeing Amara was somewhere out in the landing and bugger off over there. As I opened up more boxes, again, this sort of the more smaller components for the rig, then Amara decided that she was going to go climb into stuff before I'd finished unboxing it fully, as cats will do. There was plenty of new things to be exploring. I think she managed to bop her head on the side of the desk because she's far too curious about what's going on in the box. At this time, there was starting to be. I'd started to put together. You can see over there, sort of started to put together some of the basics of the frame. The bubble wrap had made its way out of the box and now was on a pile, or was in a pile on the floor with a couple of bits and pieces still stuck in there, for which Amara decided was now going to be the best nesting space. Because, again, why not? Why not get right in the way? You can kind of see in terms of filming-wise, I don't have a huge amount of space, but the cat was determined to get in the way of building space by, going underneath the bubble wrap. She doesn't even care if you stick the bubble wrap over her. She's fine with that. She's absolutely fine. We will just go and make a little hidey hole in it. Probably scare the crap out of Cass as he became wandering in to find Amara suddenly poke her face out from in the pile of bubble wrap. Yeah, she really doesn't care. You can sit there and have a clean. You can drop the bubble wrap on her. She's fine with that. She's absolutely fine with that. And again, we'll have a little bit of a sniff before curling up and go to sleep. Yes, she did actually go to sleep on the bubble wrap. I did take the bubble wrap off her when she went to sleep, but there we go. The next morning when I came up into the office, this was the site that I found. I'd stuck one of the boxes on end, didn't stop the cats. They would jump in and fill the bottom. Yes, there is an Amara head in there somewhere. There's just about space for two cats to sleep in. Then there is literally just about space for two cats to sleep in there. And that's that. That's where they are going to... going to sleep again, as you would expect. I apologise for occasional dodgy lighting with some of this stuff. Again, sort of random time of days and filming all of this lots on my phone. When I had kind of got the base of the rig sorted out, this was moving on to put the TV stand up. They are sat on a box. There is a box within a box, and now they were going for the whole. They'd figured out the first boxes were fine. Now they're going for the whole. As soon as a box is opened, jump into it, and both of them claiming this particular one. Amara then went a step further. I was trying to put together one of the TV mounts. This was the box, with all the bolts and the washers, etc., that I needed for it. Amara climbed into the box. This is while I was still using it. Amara climbed into the box and then proceeded to curl up and go to sleep. Now, they're the bolts and so on that I need. She's just going to sleep on top of them. I actually had to physically move her tail to get stuff, but she didn't care. She would remain there. She had to kind of had a little bit of a shuffle around. I don't know how on earth it was comfortable being sat on all of that stuff. She had to shuffle around, found a comfortable spot, and then proceeded to sleep there for about 25 minutes while I was trying to work around her, because what else would they possibly do? What else would they possibly... This is why nothing ever gets done. This is why nothing ever gets done in my office, because they get in the way of absolutely everything. But at least they're kind of cute. Within, I think, about, 2 hours of everything being set up, it then turned into quite an expensive cat bed. You know, I was intending on going to do some actual, driving on the thing, but apparently Amara had other ideas, and I have since had to scoop cats out of it many times because it was required for me to go and do some driving. Yeah, it is apparently quite a comfy cat bed. She can look as cute as she likes, however, she is a right troublemaker. Yep. You are an absolute troublemaker, even if you do make for the occasional decently cute angle when filming. However, that was one time when she was asleep. The next time when she was asleep, somebody disassembled or reassembled the kitten incorrectly, I think. Cats are liquid, I think, is what we have learned here. And apparently this is the best possible comfy way for Amara to be sleeping, completely upside down, and that's fine. I mean, you saw when they were slept in the bottom of the box. Yeah. It's a good size. It's a good size for a little kitten to sleep on. It actually works for both of them as well. Yes, a day later, I came upstairs at one point to find the pair of them. Well, yeah, like this. There is just about enough space. I mean, it looked pretty comfy for one cat. Apparently, with two cats, it does work just as well. Cass has had enough and is going to go to sleep. He's had enough camera time. Well, of late they've found other places to sleep. On the most part, yeah, sim rig, comfy spots. A very, very comfy cat bed. And that's that. When the cats are off of it, well, this is kind of it when it's all finished. Now, the TV mounting point, there are spaces for 3 that will eventually extend into 3 TVs, but haven't quite got the money for all of those. It's a nice setup. The wires are a little bit of a mess because I, very much like a kid at Christmas, throw it together and thought, quickly, I want to have a go, I want to test everything out before really doing the wires neatly. So that will be something that is going to be sorted out at a later date. There are also a lot of wires for steering wheel and TV, and my computer's the other side of the office. I've got to run wires all the way around over to it. So, what is this like as a place to go racing in? Well, it is certainly very nice to be able to just have this set up here. Not to have to, move a keyboard out of the way, set your wheel up, and then try and get it clamped to a desk and hope that it doesn't wiggle around. While the Fanatic was pretty good in its, in its clamping mechanism, still it would jump about every so often a bit, would clip, and then you'd be kind of trying to fight the wheel and plug it back in and whatnot. With this, it's bolted on. And of course, I don't have to worry about moving it. It's nice having a permanent setup that I can come and, go racing whenever I want. It is a comfortable place to be as well. There was one day that I pretty much spent 4 hours sat in this. I spent an hour doing a recording, and then I did a 3-hour stream on Project Cars. That's a long amount of time to be sat stationary doing whatever it is. And yeah, it was perfectly comfortable. It's a nice enough place to be. There are some downsides, as you might imagine. First of all, it's very difficult to get in and out of. There is, down to this side, you can't quite see it from this shot, but there is a little mounter for a gear stick if I was to get one. Now, where I have to sit to be able to reach the pedals is very awkward to get my knee kind of out. You have to be a bit of a contortionist to get in and out of this from time to time, especially if I have my microphone set up, my normal microphone set up to be recording, because it can be a bit of a pain getting in and out of. Also, I'm not exactly the largest of chaps. Even I find this seat a little bit snug. Don't know if you're going to be able to see here, but if I move my arm out of the way, just smack the microphone, sorry. This sort of red strip, this is where the side of the, kind of up here, where the racing seat comes. Now, if I sit back in this, there's another one on the other side, I pretty much fill the space. And that's, yeah, it's snug. Now, it's fine for me. It works for me. However, if you were much larger than me, you would have a lot of difficulty. Getting into this. The other downside, the chair is a leather chair. Now, any of you who have a leather interior on your cars will know when it gets warm, when it gets to summer, at the moment, being winter, that's fine, but when it gets warm, these are not the most comfortable things in the world. Again, when I spent a long time in the seat doing Project Car Stream and so on, yeah, it gets a bit warm. I kind of can't help but feeling perhaps a material seat might have been a little teensy bit nicer. I mean, as a thing to look at and so on, yeah, sure, like a full-on leather racing seat is good and everything, but there's kind of a reason why the actual seats aren't. But anyway, yeah, that's a slight downside. The bigger issue with all of this is the instructions. When it comes to building this, it comes in a big box, everything in components, as you would expect. Now, I was hardly, expecting to see Lego levels of instructions. However, they weren't good. to build the entire seat, everything that we've got this on is one sheet of A4 paper. Sorry, there are pictures on both sides. Don't really show very much. A lot of it was guesswork. A lot of it was look at images of the things set up on their website and kind of put stuff together until it vaguely fits. I got there in the end, but it wasn't easy. Also, trying to get the seat mounted on the base is not really a one-person job. It's not really a one-person. It would be very difficult to do that on your own because, it's quite a faff. Worst of all, though, is the mountings for the TV stands. Now, the sort of monitor setup that I've got, or the monitor stand that I've got, is a separate part. You can buy just the seat, or you can buy just the monitor stand if that's what you need. Now that setup, that bit didn't come with instructions whatsoever. Nothing was there. I couldn't find anything on their normal website. After a bit of Googling, I came across the sort of GT Omega Iberia website, whatever. Not Iberian, that's the racetrack in Forza. Iberia website. Found, well, I say a set of instructions. There were 2 pictures on it. Hopefully I can find it again and get the image and put it up on the screen now. That's going to hold 3 TVs. That stand is supposed to hold 3 TVs. Now, with the monitors that I'm looking at getting, that's £1,200 worth of TVs being held up by something that was largely built by guesswork. Now, it does feel sturdy, do not get me wrong here. Again, this whole thing this built down here, it feels sturdy, it all feels there, and I haven't had any problems with the TV stand, but I did it on 2 pictures and some guesswork. Now, I'd like to think my engineering skills are okay, you know, but still, that's not the greatest way to fill me with confidence. But the TV hasn't fallen down yet, so I'll take that as a win. So, would I recommend this GT Omega sim rig? Well, first of all, I should point out that this is at the pretty budget end of the spectrum for these sort of things. Certainly outside of the, build your own ones at home, I have no skills with that kind of thing, so I have to go and buy one. But of the bought ones, this is, the pretty budget end of the spectrum. Now, you can buy the seat separately. The seat part and the TV mounting part are 2 different things, but if you buy them together, it was just shy of £500. And that's the budget end of the spectrum. You can spend a huge amount of money on these sort of things if you want to. And I'm not sure I quite see the necessity in some ways, because this does absolutely everything that I need it to do. It's comfortable. It is, compatible. There's a lot of different mounting points on the pedal base and on the steering wheel base for all sorts of different wheels. I use a Thrustmaster TX now, but I did have a brief try. I can get my Fanatic to fit on it. It's got plenty of adjustability in it. You can adjust pretty much everything on it. It's adjustable, move seat position, and so on. So for the, for the budget end of the spectrum, it does absolutely everything that I need it to do. The main big complaints is that it is, poor instructions with it. No, once you have got it together, it's fine, and it does, feel very sturdy, as I said. But that's a little bit off-putting, perhaps, to some. I will also say I would highly recommend you mount your pedals to the base first, rather than when you've got everything set up then try and mount them, because that's not fun. I had to use about 3 torches and kind of contortionist myself around the various different bits and pieces to try and get into a vague place where I could see how to bolt the damn thing in. I wouldn't probably have thought of it initially, but I didn't have my steering wheel. At the time I built the thing, I didn't actually have my wheel. It's... definitely do that, because it is very difficult to then go and bolt the pedals in after it is all set up. It's a decent size. It will require a fair amount of space. Not everyone will be able to fit one into whatever room it would be needed to go in, but when it is all set up, it's damn nice. It is damn nice being able to have a nice dedicated corner to go and sit and do this sort of thing, have everything set up permanently. As far as value for money go, it is quite a lot of money. It is quite an investment, but for the sort of thing that it is, it is I would say good value. Also, the cats like it, and I mean, if Cass has given it the lick of approval, therefore it must be good. That though is going to be it for this video. Thank you very much for watching, and until next time, goodbye.